Awake, O sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Christ will give you light. We heard that in Ephesians, second reading, and I hope you're doing the readings for Mass, doing prayers, professing the faith, and saying the prayers, the petitions, the Our Father, doing these kind of things. Use the word among us as your help. If we read that from the second reading, maybe we can awake and have a new awareness of Christ's presence among us in this dark valley. When I woke up yesterday and went to Mass and I was the only one, I was thinking how much I miss you all. What a powerful experience Mass is when everybody's present and people are responding. But without that, it lacks significantly. Of course, it's not that you all don't want to be there. It's been taken away from us, this community, by this fast-spreading virus. The bishop had to make a difficult decision for the safety of all. It's a really contagious virus. 800 people died in Italy yesterday. Yes, I woke up, me, the sleeper. It seemed like I was the only one on earth as I went to Mass alone. No one to respond to me. Maybe that's how you feel a little bit. We are put in quarantine. All our activities, all our exercise places, well, only one in Oaks, but our gatherings, our places to eat out, have a drink with a buddy, they've all been taken away from us, and we've been sent to our rooms. Someone said God didn't like the way humans were acting, and so he collectively sent us to our rooms. I was listening to forum.org, and they were talking about the word quarantine. It actually comes from the word 40. Most Romance languages and Italian, Spanish are examples. They use a word for this time Jesus spent in the desert from the word 40. So, for example, Quaresma is from quarenta, which is 40. So they enter into Quaresma, the 40 days. And when a ship came in Italy, the old days, they would put it in quarantine if they thought it might have a virus or anything on it. It's putting it into the quarantine 40 days to protect society. The long and the short of it, we've been forced into Lent, into the 40. Like the old days, Lent was a very serious matter, almost as if it was life and death matter. And the modern virus hasn't made it so. Well, the desert can be a desert life and death matter too, physically, but also when Jesus went there, it was his struggle with sin. And of course, that's the most deadly thing we can face in life. We can die eternally. Awake, O sleeper, God says. I'm giving you a wake-up call, giving me a wake-up call. I will give you light so you can walk through the dark valley. Appreciate your holy gatherings. Appreciate the Mass. Take seriously the sacraments. I went over yesterday to church at 5:30, the normal time for Mass. And again, I miss you all very much. I had been feeling a little anxious once in a while, tightness in my chest. And as I was there, I just started singing like it was Mass. And it helped me tremendously. These 40 days of Lent, O Lord, with you we fast and pray. Teach us to discipline our wills and follow, Lord, your way. And I was reading the Psalm, and it says, even though I walk in the dark valley, I fear no evil, for you are with me. You are at my side with your rod and your staff that give me comfort. Well, this is a dark valley. And I thought of the song that I'll have for my funeral someday. We have we recognize our mortality in these times, don't we? And when I walk through the dark valley, I think of clinging to that shepherd who is our rock. My life flows on in endless song above earth's lamentations. I hear the real, though far off hymn that hails a new creation. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging. Since love is Lord of heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing. This is a dark valley, and he's going to take us through this storm. But sometimes God has to wake us up, even when we are awake. Isn't it true? In the first reading, Samuel was called by God to anoint a new chosen one to lead God's people. Samuel made his choice. He looked upon Eliab and thought, surely the Lord's anointed is here before him. But the Lord said to Samuel, do not judge from his appearance or his lofty stature, because I have rejected him. Not as man sees does God see, because man sees the appearance, but the Lord looks into the heart. So if the Lord looked into our heart, what would he see? Would he see us loving him with all our mind, all our heart, all our strength? Living out the first commandment? I think we can all approve of that, that's for sure. The Lord woke up Samuel to a new way of seeing. And at the end of the reading, when he anointed David, the Spirit rushed upon David. The Spirit needs to help us. We need to invite that Spirit so we can see how God sees. Some are fearing that with this time away from Mass, people will just stop going to Mass. Well, they'll just continue the trend that's been happening the last many years. 50% was going when I was ordained, 45, 30. Now there's less than 30%, they figure, nationally. Our own community suffers from that. But I hope it'll be actually a wake-up call, that people will realize what's most important. Because I can't imagine that people can start thinking that they can live without the Mass. When Jesus says, do this in remembrance of me. And St. Paul says, don't avoid the gathering. To think that they can live without God or not worship God, that is a living death, eternal death. Awake, O sleeper, arise from dead, and Christ will give you light. In the gospel, Jesus opens the eyes of a blind man, a man born blind. How perfect is that? Maybe he can open our eyes so we can see more clearly what is missing in our lives, and to love God with all our heart. He looks into our heart. The Pharisees are stubbornly clinging to their power, to their control. They know Jesus is a sinner. He made that mud on a Sabbath. The blind man, when his eyes are open, he worships Jesus. That's what will happen when we realize what's most important, when we open our eyes. We'll see what's most important, and we will worship Jesus. We'll wake up and put Jesus number one, not our money, not our 401k plan, not our activities, not our sports. We will make sure we go to Mass, which he gave and said, do this in remembrance of me. Our socializing won't be number one. Jesus will be number one when we open our eyes. The Pharisees stick to their old ways. They are not awakened by the miraculous healing of a man born blind. Hopefully we don't stick to our own ways. Hopefully this dark valley helps us grow. Jesus tells the Pharisees, you say we see, so your sin remains. Wow, that's death when sin separates us from Jesus and from God. Awake, O sleeper, see what must be number one. Give us light to walk through this dark valley, Lord. Oh, let the Spirit rush upon us like it did David when he was first anointed. So we keep God number one. Keep you number one, Lord. Help us to awake to the truth.